Okay, so you're in Rome for 2.5 days and you're kind of curious what to do. Well, that's what we're going to be doing. So we figured just catch the big stuff. You can't see everything in 2.5 days. In this video, we're going to show you exactly how we tackle it.
Happy to be here.
So we just arrived, so we'll call this half day. And we're going to try to go down to the Trevi Fountain and to the Pantheon, right?
We saw the Spanish Steps already.
Oh, we did. Yeah, that was quick. So where we're staying, just for reference, is the Hotel Gregorian. It's right on this road here, and the Spanish Steps are right up there, centrally located, and we can walk to everything. Okay, on to the Trevi Fountain. Now, we use Google Maps to get around, and it's very important before you arrive to download the offline map of Rome in order to have the navigation work easier. Otherwise, if you lose cell connection, the maps may not work properly. Oh, and a word of caution, don't try to cross the street against the light because these cars and motorcycles, they're not looking out for you. They're driving pretty fast. But fortunately, many of the streets you'll walk on in Rome are dedicated to pedestrians, which makes it a lot easier because you don't have to fight the traffic. Food and shops everywhere, and if you pass one of these, what I'm about to show you, don't fall for it. They're scams. That's right, if you see street games like this, just keep walking, because they're only out to get your money. Also, be wary of the restaurants that are near the tourist attractions, and supposedly if they show pictures like this, they're not really authentic and they're just for the tourists. Okay, so we made it to Trevi Fountain, 0.36 miles. That's 0.36 miles from the hotel. And while you're here, there'll be people trying to give you bracelets. Just ignore them. They're usually tall African guys. Now be aware, between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., there is a charge to go down to the lowest level of the Trevi Fountain. It's €2. And also be prepared for the crowds. This place is crowded day and night. But as you can see, we had a pretty good view of the Trevi Fountain from the upper level, and we did not go down to the lower level, at least at this time. Now, if you're interested in getting close to the fountain during the regular hours of 9 to 9, come up to the right of the fountain. That's where you buy your tickets. And then I think they time when you can go in. From this angle, you can really appreciate all the people that were here. It was crowded. And be really careful when you're in a situation like this where there's tremendous crowds, because this is what the pickpockets rely on, is close contact, and they're going to get your stuff, so don't put anything in your back pocket. Be extra careful. Okay, we're going to leave this mob scene here at the Trevi Fountain and try to go over to the Pantheon. It's over in that direction. I mean, it's a nice fountain, but is it worth the crowds that are here? We're going to try to come back some night when hopefully it'll be less crowded and you can get in for free. So to get to the Pantheon, go to the left of the fountain and go down the street you see in front of us, and that will lead to it. And again, don't eat at the places right next to the tourist attractions, because these are just tourist traps. Just like before, just follow Google Maps. And the Pantheon's only about a 10-minute walk from Trevi Fountain. Very easy. And when you're walking, if you see this white line, that's where the cars go. Don't go over there, you'll get hit. Stay on this side. This is the sidewalk. And we're here. There it is, straight ahead. So it does cost $5 to go into the Pantheon, but it's worth it. There's apparently 2 lines. You buy the tickets when you get here. There's a credit card line and a cash line. And then I think the cash line is shorter, but we're going to check it out and see. But I don't know. The line looks like it's stretching across the entire plaza. So here's the credit card line on the right side of the Pantheon. It goes way back into the plaza. And as you can see, the cash line looks like it starts right here, so it is considerably shorter. And the cash lines move really quickly, so if you come to the Pantheon, get on the cash line. It's $5 a person, €5. Very quick, took about 10 minutes to get our tickets, and we're heading in. All right, time for little facts. The Pantheon is over 2,000 years old. It was first built to worship all gods, and then changed to a Roman Catholic Church. It's one of the largest concrete domes in the world. And as you can see, they didn't complete the center. That was on purpose. And people always wonder what happens when it rains. Well, they have a drainage system in the floor. So when the rainwater comes through, it goes down to the drainage system. Let's see if we can see it. So when it rains, the water comes down, and you see some of those holes in the floor there. That's part of the drainage system. And here's the altar where the Roman Catholic Church masses take place now. As they say, pictures do not do this place justice. And we were both amazed at how well preserved the building was, considering it was built over 2,000 years ago. Especially the concrete dome, which looks like it had just been built yesterday. That was pretty interesting, definitely worth the $5. So on this half day that we just arrived, next step is the Spanish Steps. And it's probably about a 15-minute walk from the Pantheon to the Spanish Steps.
We're doing pretty good for two people that haven't slept in about 24 hours. Where am I again?
Okay, welcome to the Spanish Steps. These were built back in the 1700s to connect that church up there to the plaza down here. And supposedly I'd read that they passed a law that it's illegal to sit or drink or eat on the Spanish Steps, but it looks like nobody's following that law. They're all sitting there, some people drinking, and you can see how busy the plaza is here. Again, seeing this many people in a plaza reminds me so much of Prague. Never expected to be this many people here. And as we walk over here, you see this fountain that's shaped like a boat. There's a reason for that. Apparently there was a big flood here many centuries ago, and a boat was washed up to this spot. And so when they commissioned the sculpture, they said, hey, make it like a boat. And that's exactly what they did.
That completes our half-day excursion in Rome.
That's right. And tomorrow we're off to the Colosseum, and on the following day, the Vatican. Should be interesting. All right. You getting hungry?
I am.
All right.
Another night, another dinner.
That's right. Let's get on to get something to eat. Okay, we accomplished a lot yesterday in our half day here, and today is day number 1, and we're heading to the Colosseum, and we're going to do a formal tour with the Viator, and I'll put the link below. This way we didn't have to worry about standing on lines or buying tickets beforehand. Everything's taken care of by Viator for the tour, and let's see how that goes. It's about a 35-minute walk from our Hotel Gregoriana, to the Colosseum. And it involves walking through a tunnel. But it felt safe. It was well lit, and lots of other people were walking too. Now be aware, down at the Colosseum there are tons of pickpockets, so be extra careful. And when you walk in the streets of Rome, the cars are not going to stop for you. You have to really stop for them. Like I said, a pretty easy 30-minute walk, except for the cobblestone. And there's the Colosseum right in front of us. Now when you get to the Colosseum, watch out for these guys. So avoid those guys that I just showed you. They're all over the Colosseum. They'll pretend you give your free bracelet, then they'll ask for money and won't let you go till you give them money. And also they won't let you give the bracelet back. So the best vantage point is up over here under that big palm tree to see the Colosseum, to get some epic shots. We're early for our tours. Let's take a walk up there and show you the epic shot you can get. So here's the entrance to that park. Let's walk up and see if we can get the epic shot.
That was epic.
And we're meeting our tour guide for Viator in that park right across the street. That's on top of the subway station, the Colosseum subway station. So, and you can access it from that bridge over there, but we're going to head over there now because it's time to sign in. But again, be careful, pickpockets are everywhere. So where you'll find the pickpockets is outside the train station right here, the subway. They're usually young women from Eastern Europe carrying jackets and big bags, usually in a group of 3. And if they bump into you, hold on to your wallet. because they're going to try to get it. But they're usually down in this section down here, or anywhere where there's groups or crowds around the Colosseum. It was easy to find the tour guide, and they provided the tickets to get into the Colosseum. Be aware that the name in the ticket must match a photo ID, so don't forget to bring a photo ID with you. And a U.S. driver's license with a photo will work. With the tour group, we were able to skip the line, but you still had to go through security. So get ready for a 4-step process to get in. Show your ticket, then show your ID, then go through a metal detector, then show your tickets again. And then you're in. Now, the benefit of going with a tour guide is that you learn all the history of this 2,000-year-old structure. You're not just looking at it, but you're hearing about what happened here. Now, this tour did not go down to the lower level, but we had a good view of it from our vantage point. And after hearing about the Colosseum and touring it for over an hour, we then moved on to the Roman Forum. And all along the way, we continue to hear about the interesting history of this UNESCO World Heritage Site. We even walked along the original roads of ancient Rome. Now, the regular lines to get into the Roman Forum were very long, but because we're with the tour group, they had a dedicated line for tours, and we were able to get in much quicker. As you can see, the tour group line was on the left, the regular line was on the right, and our line was moving at a pretty good pace. So I'd say just to beat the line to get inside the forum is worth the price of taking a tour as we're doing through Viator. Once inside, our tour guide filled us in on all the interesting history of the Roman Forum, which was the center of ancient Rome. Well, that was quite a tour, 3 hours, a little bit long, but if you're a history buff or want to hear all the information about this area, Colosseum, the Roman Forum, that's the tour to take. It was very informative.
Time for cafe.
Okay, it's day 3 of our Roman adventure. Today we're going to the Vatican. It's probably about a 40-minute walk from the hotel. We have a planned tour with Get Your Guide. I'll put the link below of the Basilica. We're skipping the Vatican Museum because we've heard it's really, really crowded. And we didn't want to go through all that. But the Pope is in town today, and this is Wednesday. And sometimes, or actually on Wednesday mornings, he'll do a general audience visit, and we're hoping maybe we can catch that. Although we don't have tickets for it, it's free. So we're going to see if we can maybe get a glimpse of the Pope too.
Another beautiful day in Rome.
And you gotta love how they park overnight here in Rome. Now, the walk to the Vatican was a good 40 minutes, and this was our second full day in Rome, and our legs were getting a little bit tired. But the walk to the Vatican was actually really nice. Now, our tour of St. Peter's Basilica wasn't until the afternoon, but our plan was to get to the Vatican around 8:30 a.m. to see if we could see the Pope at the general visit. So again, as I said before, you're supposed to have a ticket to get into the papal audience on Wednesday mornings, although it is free, and I've read that you can sometimes just walk in around 8:30, 9 o'clock. We'll see if that works, but you do have to go through security. So we just went through one police checkpoint to just look in our bags and look under your coats. And now we're in the square, see where we go next. Once you enter the square, head to the right. Then you head to the right of the square, and that's where the main security checkpoint is. Now, if you have tickets for the papal audience, you can sit in the chairs up there. There's supposedly some bronze doors with Swiss guards up ahead after you go through security where you can get free tickets for the day, or you can just kind of walk in and see what happens, and that's what we may do. Okay, through the main security, which is behind me, they have a lot of security lines, so it's very quick. Got in probably within 5 or 10 minutes. So again, we don't have tickets for the papal visit, but it's open to the public, so we're just going to walk around and see what happens. So we simply walked in, took a seat, and then waited for the Pope to arrive. And he arrived around 10 a.m. Now, we'll do a dedicated video in the near future about our entire experience of seeing the Pope. After seeing the Pope, we left the square, but headed back in the afternoon for our tour of the St. Peter's Basilica with Get Your Guide. All right, time for our tour with Get Your Guide. Now, we're meeting in front of a shop, but we have to go through preliminary security to get into the square where the shop is. And it's crowded now. After going through the preliminary security, we met in front of a shop that was just to the right of St. Peter's Square. After meeting our guide, unfortunately, we still had to go on a long line to go through main security. But while we were waiting, she filled us in on all the interesting history of the Vatican. Built in the 1500s, the St. Peter's Basilica is the largest Catholic church in the world. And the benefit of taking this organized tour with Get Your Guide is that instead of just looking at everything, you're actually learning about the history. And what we saw and heard from our guide was truly spectacular and worth the wait. The tour then ended after visiting the catacombs downstairs, where many popes are buried, as well as the remains of St. Peter, guarded by our favorite archangel, St. Michael. So that was quite a tour of the Basilica, and I think the tour is worth it because at least you'll get some information. Otherwise, you're just walking around looking at statues and have no idea what it's all about. But it is long. Be prepared to be on your feet. It is tiring. So that completes our 2.5 days of Rome. And next up, tomorrow we take a train to Venice. And we'll show you what it's like to take a train from Rome's main train station to Venice. All right, until next time, safe travels. And we're tired, right?